Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Friends, this is the month of May. This is the most important month for all Buddhists all over the world. Specifically, the full moon day of this month, which is called Vesak Day, Vesak full moon day. The Buddha was born, attained full enlightenment, and passed away in not to be born again. Passed away not to be born again. On this same day, the full moon day of Vesak, same day, though different years. He was born as a prince in the year 623 BCE. That means 2648 years ago. He was born on the full moon day of May, Vesak Day. He attained full enlightenment in the year 588 BCE. That was 2613 years ago. Then he did his wonderful, unparalleled service of sharing the Dhamma, real Dhamma, the real nature of the world, real nature of ourselves. He taught the Dhamma for 45 years. His enlightenment was not something given by a superhuman, by an agent. It was a self-awakening. That is why it is called self-awakening. The Buddha is called the self-awakened one, Samma Sambuddha. Samma Sambuddha. He realized by himself. So he did his wonderful, unparalleled service for 45 years and passed away on the same day, full moon day of May, in the year 543 BCE. That means 2568 years ago. We celebrate, all Buddhists all over the world celebrate this special day as the thrice blessed day of the life of the Buddha. So this month is very important for all of us. Why it is important? To understand his real words and put that word, real word of the Buddha, into practice. He has taught us the real nature of ourselves. He said, the so-called man or woman means 6 sense bases and 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates are arising and passing, arising and perishing within the 6 sense bases. If we are mindful and wise enough, we can understand the 4 noble truths, the 3 characteristics of existence, and the dependent origination, these major principles, what he rediscovered within these 6 sense bases. We ourselves can understand this. That is why we want to practice, dedicate for the realization of this Dhamma. Then we can live happily, peacefully, having realized this Dhamma in this very world. Friends, the Buddha taught us that there are a lot of thoughts. We have different thoughts, wholesome thoughts and unwholesome thoughts. That is how he himself, even before his attainment of enlightenment, as an unenlightened bodhisattva, he divided his thoughts into 2 groups. This is given clearly in the discourse named two kinds of thoughts. Deda Vitakka Sutta. Yeah, he said that he divided this, put these different types of thoughts into 2 groups. One, he kept one side the thoughts of sensuality, ill will, and cruelty. That is what is called unwholesome thoughts. On the other hand, the other side, the thought of renunciation, thought of non-ill will, and thought of non-cruelty. So all these are called discursive thoughts. Specifically, we have to understand the discursive thoughts, discursive, evil, unwholesome, destructive thoughts, and such thoughts are to be completely destroyed by ourselves. That is the way to practice his very words. Vitakka, discursive thoughts, in Pali is Vitakka. Tonight we want to understand how to practice this. In order to understand this, we have chosen a special discourse from the exclamations of the Buddha. Exclamations, udana, uplifts of the Buddha. Exclamations of the Buddha. This is from the collection of discourses named Udana. The name of the discourse is Meghya Sutta. The topic for this talk is how to cut off 3 types of discursive thoughts. Once the Buddha was dwelling at Chalika mountain, a mountain named Chalika. On that occasion, Venerable Meghya, but by that time the Buddha's assistant, attendant monk was Venerable Meghya. One day he went to the Buddha and said, Bhante, I would like to go into Jantu village. Jantu is the name of a village. I would like to go to Jantu village for alms. That is to collect alms, collect foods from house to house. Then the Buddha said, then do, Meghya, what you think it is now time to do. After that, Venerable Meghya, having adjusted his underrobe and carrying his bowl and robes, went into that particular village for alms. After collecting his alms and after having his meal, he wanted to walk around. He therefore went to the bank of the Timikala river, a river nearby. As he was walking up and down along the bank of that river to exercise his legs, he saw a pleasing, charming mango grove. A pretty place, charming, pleasing place. Seeing it, he thought, how pleasing and charming this mango grove. It's enough for a young man of good family intent and on exertion to exert himself in meditation. Means being so delighted seeing this place. He has a connection. He had a connection. That is why he was so attractive to this place. Because this was in his previous lives. This is the place. This was the mango grove of his pleasure garden. This was his pleasure garden. In his previous life, he was a prince. This is where he left. There he lived happily, peacefully. He enjoyed his life with many others, with many different princesses even. So now, this monk, Venerable Meghya, having seen this, being so attractive, with attachment, he thought, if the Blessed One permits me, I would like to exert myself in meditation in this mango grove. He thought to come and practice meditation if the Buddha permits him. So he went to the Buddha and said what happened, how he went from house to house, begging, collecting alms, and how after his noon meal, how he walked along the bank of that river, and how he saw this place which was pleasing and charming, the mango grove. And he further said, if the Blessed One permits me, I would like to go to that mango grove to practice meditation, Bhante. When this was said, the Buddha said, Megya, as long as I am still alone, stay here until another monk comes. Buddha said, Megya, as I am alone here, can you stay a while expecting another monk? And then Megya, for the second time, the Buddha kept silent. And then he said, Megya, Venerable Megya said, the Lord, he said, Lord, the Blessed One has nothing further to do and nothing further to add to what he has done. However, I have something further to do and add to what I have done. If the Blessed One permits me, I would like to go to that mango grove to practice meditation. He says, now the Buddha has done nothing to be done further. So I want to practice. I want to practice more. Therefore, please allow me to go. That's how he asks his permission, Buddha's permission. For the second time, the Blessed One responded to Venerable Megya, as long as I am still alone, stay here until another monk comes. Then third time Venerable Megya said to the Blessed One, Lord, the Blessed One has nothing further to do and nothing further to add to what he has done. However, I have something further to do and add to what I have done. If the Blessed One permits me, I would like to go to the mango grove to exert myself in meditation. As he said for the third time, the Buddha said, as you are talking about exertion, practice meditation, Megya, what can we say? Do what you think it is now time to do. Do as you like. That's what the Buddha said. Buddha permitted him. Now, after this, as he got the permission, he went to practice in the mango grove. But he went to the mango grove and he sat under a tree and started to practice. While he was practicing, for the most part of his practicing, he was assailed by three kinds of unskillful thoughts. Unskillful, discursive thoughts. What he practiced? As he was practicing, many kinds of unwholesome thoughts, discursive thoughts pop up, arose. All such thoughts can be categorized into three: thoughts of sensuality, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of harming, cruelty. Such thoughts. Those are what you call discursive thoughts. three kinds of discursive thoughts. When such thoughts arose, he could not practice. Then he thought, how amazing, how astounding. Even though it was through faith that I went forth from home to the homeless life, still I am overpowered by these three kinds of unskillful thoughts. Thoughts of sensuality, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of harming. So, as he could not practice, emerging from his seclusion, his meditation, he went to the Buddha. And he said, what happened? Just now, while I was staying in the mango grove, I was for the most part assailed by three kinds of unskillful thoughts. Thoughts of sensuality, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of harming. Then the Buddha said, Meghiya, in one whose awareness release is mental release, Cheto Vimukti, Chitta Vimukti, the release of the mind. In one's release of mind is still immature. 5 qualities need to be brought up to maturity. Means, in order to experience the release of mind, since the mind is not matured enough, one has to practice 5 things, 5 factors, 5 qualities, develop 5 qualities for the maturity of the mind. Which 5? Now, the Buddha pointed out 5 qualities to be practiced in order to experience the release of mind, relief of mind. Release of mind, relief of mind, both. Cheto Vimukta. Vimukta means release. Buddha said 5 qualities. Since your mind is not matured enough, practice these 5. First one is associating with true friends, Kalyana Mitta. Friends, this is very important factor. This is the most important factor. We have no Kalyana Mittas to associate. Associating with the Kalyana Mitta, true friend, who is truly, really supporting you to understand the very words of the Dhamma, very words of the Buddha, real Dhamma. Whoever, such a person is what you call Kalyana Mitta. Our best Kalyana Mitta is the Buddha, but Buddha is no more. But his Dhamma is available, real Dhamma is available. Whoever is revealing, whoever is explaining, describing, sharing with you is the one called Kalyana Mitta. Be such a Kalyana Mitta. So the Buddha said, associate with the Kalyana Mitta. That's the first factor. Second factor is virtuous. Be a virtuous one. Sila. Your sila is very much significant for your practice. First, associate with a kalyana mitta and be a virtuous one, secondly. How should be clear of? How should be a virtuous one? You have to think of your sila. Sila means not only the 5 precepts or 10 precepts or 9 precepts or such precepts. Precepts are all right. The precepts are based on sikha. These are called sikha. To train ourselves, we want to observe these precepts. That's true. But the real precept, real sila is to be practiced being mindful and wise. You have to be mindful of our senses. Our 6 senses are to be restrained by ourselves. Restraining our senses is the sila. That is what the Buddha said, Kayena Sangvaro Sadhu. It is good that you restrain your body. Sadhu Vachaya Sangvaro, restrain your speech. Chakkuna Sangvaro Sadhu, restrain your eyes. Restrain your ears, restrain your nose, restrain your tongue, restrain your body like that. That is what is called sila. So, the second factor to be developed is sila. Be a virtuous one. Third factor is whenever you talk, whenever you get together and talk, your talks should be conducive to the path. To the path. What is the path? Path of Nibbana. Path to Nibbana. Path to Nibbana. The Buddha recommended 10 topics to be talked on. What are the 10 topics? The Buddha said, talk on modesty. Talk on contentment. That is what is lacking. That is what is lacking today. Most people are not contented. That's the second one. Third, seclusion. Talk on seclusion. Then fourth, talk on non-entanglement. Non-entanglement. Not entangle with the groups. Then arousing persistence. Ardent, practice ardently. Arouse energy, arouse persistence, energy. Then virtue, talk on virtue. Talk on concentration, sila samadhi. Then talk on discernment, wisdom, panya. Then talk on release, vimukti. And talk on the knowledge and vision of release, vimukti jnana darsana. These are the 10 topics given by the Buddha to talk on. Whenever we meet, whenever the Kalyana Mittas meet, they should talk something about this. Refraining from 32 kinds of unwholesome talks Buddha has given a list of unwholesome topics to talk. Such thoughts should be avoided, and one should talk on this kind of talks, this kind of use these kind of topics. Then that is the third factor to be developed for the release of mind, Cheto Vimukti. Then the Buddha said, the fourth one, arouse persistence, Aradha Virya, arouse persistence. That itself is a factor to be developed. The fifth one is discernment, wisdom, Panya. Those are the 5 factors to be developed. And then the Buddha said, the one who has those 5 qualities should further develop 4 factors, 4 different types of meditation. What are those 4 types of meditations? Meditation on the unattractiveness, unattractive unattractiveness is asubhanupassana, repulsiveness. Unattractiveness is repulsiveness. Asubhanupassana. Understand the nature, the real nature of things, real nature of this so-called man or woman. In order to understand this, one has to contemplate upon oneself, as the Buddha has analyzed this body into 42 parts. 42 parts. When we observe these different parts, we can understand the nature of unattractiveness, repulsiveness. Which abandons passion. That's the first. Then the second thing to be practiced is metta, goodwill. Practice goodwill. Metta. Extend metta to all beings without any discrimination, which abandons ill will. That is why it is to be practiced. Metta. Then third one is practice mindfulness of breathing. Practice mindfulness of breathing. These are what you call the preparatory meditation to practice insight. When you practice these meditations, you can develop your concentration, serenity, which really necessarily help us to switch to insight and understand insight, vipassana. Understand things as they really are. Practice these 3, and then the fourth one is develop the perception of inconstancy. Inconstancy is anicca, impermanent. Practice the nature of impermanence. Impermanence is to be seen within, not outside. Impermanence is to be seen in our mind. Impermanence is to be seen in the 5 aggregates. Whenever the thoughts arise, they arise and perish, arise and perish, arise and pass. That is what is called impermanent. That is the impermanence we to observe. True wisdom. Impermanence is to be observed, understood through our developed wisdom, properly developed wisdom. Yada panyaya passati. The Buddha said panyaya passati, not through your eyes. Wisdom, impermanence cannot be seen through your eyes. That is why the Buddha said, observe, see impermanence through your wisdom. Through your wisdom. Okay, those are the 4 types of meditation to be practiced by oneself at the beginning. When we practice in this manner, we can understand the thoughts. Thoughts, what are the thoughts? Discursive thoughts. 3 types of discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, discursive thoughts of cruelty. These are enemies, real enemies. That is why they are to be destroyed, totally cut off. In order to cut them off, first we have to have these qualities. Then we can observe, we can be mindful, we can clearly comprehend. As we are mindful and wise, we can see them whenever they come, whenever they pop up. The Buddha said, Uppanuppanne papake akusale dhamme. Uppanuppanna means what? Whatever the unwholesome, evil, unskillful thoughts, discursive thought, whenever they arise, whatever arise, Buddha said, these are papake akusale dhamme. Evil, unwholesome things. Those are to be understood, and we should not endure, should not welcome them. That's the first thing. Should not accept them. Secondly, keep aside. Third, abandon. Fourth, destroy. Fifth, totally cut off, obliterate it. That's the way to practice meditation, vipassana. That is the way to cut off these 3 types of discursive thoughts and attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Realizing the significance of this, the Buddha finally exclaimed, Buddha said, whatever the thoughts, little or subtle, whatever the thoughts, we have the different thoughts. How thoughts arise? Thought arise in the eye, through the eye, thoughts arise there. Thought means 5 aggregates. In the eye, in the ear, in the nose, in the tongue, in the body, and in the mind. They arise and perish. They arise, thoughts arise and pass. The thoughts are nothing but five aggregates. We have to understand form. Thought arises as a form. Then we feel it. Then we perceive it, recognize it. Then we evaluate it. And all these are detected by our consciousness. That is what is called consciousness. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. These five are called five aggregates. So five aggregates are arising and passing in all the six sense bases. Whenever they arise, the Buddha's instruction is to observe and understand them and cut them off totally. So here the Buddha said, whatever the thoughts, little or subtle, when aroused, they stir up the mind. Stir up the mind. They are disturbing. They are disturbing thoughts. They confused us. They confused us. Being bewildered and deluded by them, the uninstructed one runs from birth to birth. That is what happened. That's the problem. Simply the rising and passing is not harmful. The problem is, whenever they arise and pass, we cling to these five aggregates. That is what is called dukkha. Buddha said 5 aggregates affected by clinging is dukkha. Affected by clinging is dukkha. That is why we should not cling to these 5 aggregates. Whenever they arise and pass, let them happen. As they come, let them go. Let them go. We do not cling. We do not cling to. We do not grasp. Let them go as they come. To the 6 sense bases. At what time should we do this? Buddha said, while you are walking, while you are talking, while you are walking, while you are standing, while you are sitting, while you are reclining. 4 postures. Means all the time. No specific time. While you are walking, talking, driving, eating, drinking, sleeping, all the time. Because they come anytime, every time. So uninstructed one, uninstructed means the worldlings, putujjana. For them, that is what happens. Whenever they pop up, whenever they arise, the worldlings, they cling to this. As a result, what happened? They will be born in different places. After their death, they will be born in one of the 31 realms. That is why the Buddha said that uninstructed one runs from birth to birth. Birth to birth. Going from birth to birth. But it's opposite. The instructed one, the wise one, Suttava Arya Savaku, what happens to him? The wise one, being ardent and mindful, he is ardent, the practitioner. The wise person, when practiced, he practiced ardently, clearly comprehending, mindfully, equanimously, he is practicing. As the result, he restrains such discursive and destructive thoughts. He cuts them off. Restrain and destroy, cut them all. such a one is the awakened one, enlightened one. This is not only for Buddhas, not only for Arahants. For all humans, not to others, not other beings, not for other beings. They cannot do this. Only humans can do this, friends. The one who is practicing, let's all such thoughts go without a trace. Remainless, no remains. Cut them off totally. As the result, such a person experiences real bliss of Nibbana. May we all realize that real peace, real highest bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.